love, sex, desire, drama, lovers, and the others. And we talk about it all here on Relationship Rhetoric. Greetings and welcome to Relationship Rhetoric. I'm unapologetically Angela, your host, and today I consider them like my aunt and uncle in the education field, Michael and Danita Brown. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, I've spoke to you about this month. We are focusing on cancer survivors, health survivors, together as a couple and things that they went through as they were on their journey. So we're going to end the month with a wonderful couple that has a wonderful story that we have known each other for quite some time. So this is really going to be important to me. So we're going to get started with, how did Mr. Brown let you know that he was interested in you?
Well, my best friend, my godparents lived across the street from his mom.
Okay.
And so back in the days before your time, I worked at Walgreens Grill. And we wore these little short uniforms. And we were all going up to my godmother's house because my god sisters, and they said, that guy across the street likes you. I said, where? And they would show, like in the movie, and I said, is he looking? And we just started kind of playing back and forth, and I would say, somebody would say, well, he want to talk to you. I said, well, tell him I'm going to be at the big house, which back in the college days was where we would go and party, some of the frat brothers. And somebody would come and say, that man downstairs wants you. And he'd show up. Went to the Carnation Ball. He said, well, I wouldn't go by myself. He'd come and I'd be with other people. So I kind of played hard to get a little bit, but he was kind of cute, but I didn't let him know it, So he would just always show up. And the biggest story I tell about is we were at Walgreens Grill. Remember you guys came in there? He was in a gospel group. And they were getting ready for anniversary show. So they came in Walgreens Grill, and back in the days, 38 years ago, $5 tip for a hamburger was a lot of money. And he left me a $5 tip. And so I was, so, okay, Mr. Big spender,
Yes, okay.
So it kind of started from there, and then we started going out and went through first 2 years, like I said, I used to love to dance. Mm-hmm. And he would go to different dance clubs, and we would dance because he loved to dance too. And we would go with his former people he used to work with, Kimberly Clark. Mm-hmm. So we would get to this dance. We would get there, and the rule was you don't slow dance with anybody but each other. So I would go with my, have fun. And we just started going out and dating, and then I started liking him, really liking him. Mm-hmm. Because he was shorter than most guys that I used to date. And I guess I was heavier, thicker than most ladies he dated. Mm-hmm. But the relationship really started. And then there was a bad accident. And he was hospitalized for a while. And that's when I realized I loved him. Oh. And I think he realized he loved me. So, keep going?
No. Okay. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be emotional, Mr.
the fact that she fell in love with the sick and shut in.
That's okay. You are not sick and shut in.
No,
anymore,
he was not sick and shut in, and they either don't let him play.
I was in the hospital.
He had
for
broken
3 months.
Right, but you had broken what? Leg,
hip,
and stuff
leg,
like that.
ankle, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Mr. Brown, do you remember what you were wearing or what she was wearing on your first date?
I think she had some jeans on. Some jeans.
I hope something else.
And a shirt.
Do you remember what you had on?
Mm-hmm.
I know you do. What did you have on?
See, back in those days, that was when we went to the big house when I had the jeans on.
Okay.
That wasn't a date because there was a whole lot of people involved. But the very first date when you took me out to the movies, remember? You remember this back in those days we wore these dresses. They were long and had pleats in it. I had ankle strap shoes.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Had floor And later on, he teased me about that dress. He said, "What was you going with that big dress?"
We go to the movie or the drive-in?
Movie.
Oh, okay.
You close.
No, it's a PG movie.
Oh.
A PG show. Okay, go ahead.
So, how does it feel to be grandparents?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. We got 12 of them.
You have 12
We
grandchildren?
got 12
grandchildren.
grandchildren.
Wow.
We love it. We love it. What we started now is a grandchildren retreat. Years ago, after I was finished with breast cancer, he asked me what I want for my birthday. I said, I want all of my grandkids under one roof. And we made it happen. We had some to come in from Conway at the time, St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all came in, the ones that here. But the rule was you came Friday night. Every child had, it wasn't drop off. Nope. That Friday night, every child had to have an adult chaperone. So all the parents, some of the same dad, but they have such a beautiful relationship. I always tell people that. And all the grandkids and parents were here. They slept in the media room, just everywhere. We made pallets, and it was so nice. And that Saturday morning, we got up, had a big breakfast. Then we went outside and we had photographers. We took pictures. They had a big carnival. Mm-hmm. And then we started the birthday party. So we celebrated every child's birthday party. Well, there's one of my granddaughters. Her birthday is on the same day as mine, March 3rd. And she's the one from out of town. And so we just started that tradition 3 years ago. So we've been out of town. Like 1 year we all went to St. Louis. Then we did it here again. So we like at least once a year. And then for Christmas, all of them come here. After they finish with their families, all the grandkids come here. I mean, I love being a grandparent because you can spoil them and send them back. But we were the grandparents at first. It was the serious one. What do you need for Christmas? The parents would say, she needs a coat. He needs some shoes. And on Christmas, the grandkids would look at this stuff like, oh, okay. So then I told him, I said, I'm through being a serious grandma. So I had these huge gift bags. I filled them up with all kind of junk, didn't I? Mm-hmm. They got one good gift, like they wanted expo, whatever they wanted, I put it in there. But they got junk food. We have been the coolest grandparents ever since.
I can believe that. Mm-hmm. What is the sweetest thing that Mr. Brown has done for you?
Wow, that's a lot. The sweetest thing.
I want to hear this.
I'm going to put it in a twofold, okay?
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Well, one thing he does, it was so sweet, back a long time ago, he worked at Kimberly-Clark, and he had to work, and it was my birthday. Well, he was trying to surprise me and take off, but after he told me he had to work. Mm-hmm. So my mom and we went out to dinner. Well, when I got back, he had been beeping me back in the day. We had beepers. And he was surprising me by taking off for my birthday. And I didn't know it. Well, I was so disappointed, so upset. He took me out and bought me a tennis bracelet. What? To me, that was special. I know it's, but he was still making it. But the sweetest thing that he's ever given me was when I told him I had breast cancer. And he took care of me. And he stayed there. But the most thing I always remember was when he held me and said, we're going to beat this. That was the sweetest thing. No question that he just said, we're going to beat this. So that was the most precious gift that he gave.
I knew Mr. Brown was sweet.
He really is. He tried to put on with you guys at work. Mm-hmm. But he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. He fusses at me, but I'm paying no attention.
Right. Okay, so when did you know that something was going on with your body?
We were sitting at the breakfast table one Saturday morning, and a knot was here. It wasn't here. It was up here, and I told him I said, and then they started talking. You drink too many Diet Cokes. Well, every time I would stop drinking the Diet Cokes, it would go down. But being a woman, I knew something was going on, so it was time for my mammogram. So I always go to Macy's, Oak Court. I used to get a mammogram so I could go shop afterwards. And the little lady, I got a letter, and it said you're cancer free. I'm going like, but Stevie Wonder can see this knot up here. So when they had a biopsy done, I was told on February the 27th, on a Thursday, 4:30 in the afternoon, at the beauty salon, waiting to get curled out. I got that phone call that I had breast cancer. I always remember that day. But I always tell people that it was a setup by God. Because the name of the shop was Blessed Hands. Yeah. My stylist was Evangelist. Miss McCrae, Prayer Warrior. And then some more people, and everybody just stopped and went into a prayer mode.
In the beauty shop?
In the beauty shop,
Wow.
they went in prayer mode because I couldn't get it out. All I can remember was the lady saying I had breast cancer, and all I could do was make it into the booth where my stylist was, and I just laid in McCrae's lap, and I just cried. And they kept thinking there was something wrong with him. What's wrong with Papa? It's me.
Right.
And I shared with them. And the hardest thing I had to do, so I had breast cancer. I was diagnosed. But the hardest thing was when I came home that night, I called my family in, was to tell him.
And that leads to my next question. So, what first went through your mind when she told you?
What I'm gonna do now? That's all I said. What I'm gonna do now?
So, is that Mr. Brown going into, I need to get in work mode and prepare myself? Or what do I do as far as she's concerned?
No. I just asked myself that question, and then, I didn't really get, I don't know, prepared to do nothing. Just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just, she got cancer. What can I do? I was here. I went to every time she went for chemo. I was there. Every time she went for radiation, I was there. When she was walking around here looking like Casper with no hair, I was here. And every time she was hungry and I went and got her something to eat and she didn't bite but one time and didn't want it no more, I didn't leave her. I was here.
You are so
He's so serious.
when she woke up in the night crying because she said something was on her, and I was here. I told her, I said, that's your hand touching you. And she was laying there and she would spring up, just sit up like a zombie or something. She just spring up like that.
It was the medicine.
And I pushed her back down, and then she spring up again, And so I asked her, I said, look here, I said, do I need to get up and put my clothes on and get to the front door? Because you spring up one more time, it's going to be on. But we got through that night. We got through that. But all in all, it was a trying experience. I promise you. Especially when all her hair came out. Then she went and got a wig, like a lot of them do, and I didn't know who she was when I saw her with that wig on. She put it on about 4 o'clock in the evening. About 8 o'clock that night, it was off. So
It was glued on.
But it was something to deal with. It was something to deal with. I didn't sit around and cry a lot like she did, but
You dealt with it.
yeah, I dealt with it.
Yeah.
I didn't run off and leave her or nothing like that. I was here.
What became your plan of action, Ms. Brown?
Well, I thought to share it with him, and I wanted to tell him, but I wanted to tell my boys before anybody else said anything. I wanted to tell them. So once the whole family came and I got it out, best friends, girlfriends, all like that, they were all here that night. And when I knew they were going to be all right is why everybody was in a sad mode. Because when you hear the word cancer, a lot of people think death.
Right.
But once they got over the initial shock, I knew they were all right because they all started cooking. 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
I'm going like, really, y'all?
Yeah.
But my plan of action was after we talked, he said, Nita, I want you to fight. I never envisioned me dying from cancer. I really didn't. It never entered my mind until about the third treatment. And my family as a whole was so supportive. See, our school was there. I mean, he gained a lot of weight because I couldn't eat, but people would make sure food was in the house because, you know, those who've been through chemo, you can't stand the smell of food cooking in the house. But the plan of action was to get well, but that third treatment was when I really thought, this is it. And when he said Casper the Friendly Ghost, I turned to ashy, dark, and then ashy. And I was fussing at him because he went to Lobster and got me a dinner because I thought I could eat it. And I ate one shrimp. And then I just got in my emotions and started fussing. And we can't fuss. We fuss, but we can't because one of us is going to make the other one laugh.
Right.
And he looks at me and he said, you need to stop fussing at me with your looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So I get up and go look in the mirror. And I really do look. I start crying. I said, you didn't have to say that. But I did look like crap. Because a lot of evenings he would come in because they took turns staying here with me, him and my mom and my kids and stuff. And I would make sure when he'd leave and come back to work, so my mom, I'd get shower and everything. He would come in the afternoon and I would be sitting in the den in the chair. And I mean, just, when I tell you bald, just bald. And he would come in, he'd rub my head and he'd say, hey, my meathead. Well, that was our intimate moment because I go right back to bed. Because that was all going to go on for the day. So we went through that and he was there. I mean, when I say he was there, every treatment, I'm claustrophobic, so I couldn't do the MRIs by myself. And we had to do what they call a breast MRI. And he had to go in there with me. I mean, he had to sign documentation that he know he's going in this room. And he made me laugh the whole time I was in there because, you know, stuff like that. When I would go to West Clinic to my treatments, they would say, where Mr. Brown? Where Mr. Brown? That's because my son would take me sometime, but he would come from work. So to have that support of family members or your husband, I was blessed to have my husband there. It meant a lot, and it helped me fight. It helped me to be stronger. But like I said, after that third treatment, I didn't feel so good. I was getting a little leery, and I just prayed and I said, Lord, if you don't help me. Well, that Thursday we went back for a treatment. True enough, my liver had started acting up from the chemo, because chemo is a bad boy now. And that's when they changed my treatment. Okay. And I felt better and I began to fight. But he was so funny too. When I take my treatment this week, well, the next week you feel all right. He said, come on, let's go out to breakfast or something. I told him he was kind of kinky. He liked that ball. He want people to see. I didn't go like, I did. I'm going like, really? And I would put on my jeans, and those jeans in the closet, I can't get in them now. But I would make my face up, and we would go out in public. And back, you got to remember, 8 years ago, breast cancer, people were still hiding. They were wearing scarves and stuff. I embraced it. I did not wear anything. Only when it was cold, I put something on. But he accepted it. My son, my baby boy up there, he wore his head bald. We took pictures together, and he has this joke he tells. He said, Mama, that picture looks nasty. I said, huh? He said, that looks like me with lipstick on. So we took pictures together. But through it all, I mean, after I finished with it, my determination was, I'm going to beat this. And I remember I was in the mirror one day in the back, and I was just looking, and it was weight on my shoulders, and it was God showing me that my hair was going to grow back. I said, oh, okay. Well, you know, I wore it low like yours for some years, but I promised him that when he felt like it was time to grow hair back, I would grow it back. So about 3 years ago now, he was ready for hair, so I grew it back.
I remember those conversations in school about the hair.
And so we've been through it, but my journey now is I promise God, if you let me live and get me up off this floor, that I would be there for other ladies and men, because men can get breast cancer too.
That's right.
That I would be there for them. We have been through some trials. I tell them, I tease them all. I tell them all the time, nobody but God, because we had just moved in this house when I was diagnosed. Well, as you know, nowadays homes are two income families.
Correct.
You know, but we made it because of the love and support. Because, like I said, we dated, we got to know each other, and then we fell in love. But I truly, truly fell in love with him during that time. Well, when we turned 50, Miss Renfro used to tell me, she said, now, when y'all turn 50, you really going to fall in love. And I remember that. Kids are gone, so you have fun. But since this, we have really people say you don't see one without the other. I'm so used I just want him with me all the time. And he does too. He doesn't like it when I'm gone somewhere. He'll call, you left me here all day. Yeah, he tries to play tough. He tries to play tough, girl. He's not that tough.
That was so sweet. Okay, so how long have you been cancer free?
8 years.
8
well,
years.
yeah, this coming February will be 9 years.
9 years.
9 years.
Okay.
And now I'm on my yearly visit with the doctor. I've divorced both of them.
Yes.
And so I go once a year now.
Absolutely.
cancer-free.
Absolutely.
And I was blessed because I only had to have a lumpectomy. Yeah.
Okay.
like that.
Okay. So share with us about, because now to me you have become the breast cancer face for African American women in Memphis. Because every time October comes around, you're busy, you're speaking. So tell us about some of your engagements and the things you participate in.
Well, last year, everybody don't know me. I go to Brown Missionary Baptist Church where we have a wonderful pastor, Pastor Bartholomew Orr. But we have a cancer support ministry there at the church. And one time when he was visiting me when I was going through, we talked about starting a support group. So we started the support group. Okay. Well, the biggest thing that we've done, we support each other. It's not just for Brown. Anybody can join our ministry. But we have a lot of caregivers, and Brown is a part of that. But each year we have something big for October. So usually we have done the luncheon and stuff like that. Well, last year we did a Cinderella Gala, and that's where everybody dressed up in their long formal gowns and the tuxedos, and it was awesome. I had no idea they would turn out that big, and people instead of asking, "Are you gonna do another one?" It's coming next year. We will have throwback gowns. Don't buy anything new, but I enjoy what I do. My healing comes from going speaking to other people, telling them about my journey, and giving them and encouraging them to make sure that African American women get mammograms, because even though European whites get it and more than we do, we die from it because we don't go and get our bodies checked. You got to know your body if something is going on, not just breast cancer, heart, stroke, everything. Know your body, take care of your body. And I encourage the African American, and we are so busy, we're caregivers. We're so busy taking care of everybody else until we forget about us. And that's what I used to tell them. I remember back in the days when they said they open a person up and they would close them back up because the air would hit it. No, they opened them and closed them because it had gotten so far gone. So I encourage people, and I know a lot of people doing the different diets and stuff, but my motto is that God gave man, he's behind that. He gave man the knowledge and the skills to be able to come up with cures for cancer. Breast cancer, prostate, colon cancer are some of your easiest cancers to cure and to maintain if it's caught in time. But if you don't do anything, say, I'll go later, then it might not be a later. So and nowadays, it's not just for older ladies like myself. These babies at 20, if you know that someone in your family has had cancer, you need to tell your doctor and start early screening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Brown, what has this experience taught you?
What, with her having cancer?
And you having to be here for her and still be able to take care of Mr. Brown.
You can be honest. Go ahead. I won't.
No, I'm still here. I'm just married to her and ain't planning on going nowhere. To be more sympathetic to people with breast cancer. I see a whole lot of it. And just, I hear a lot about guys run off because their wife got diagnosed with cancer. They leave them, I mean, she didn't die, so I'm here for her.
I know, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, this story alone was inspirational. I know Mr. Brown, I know Mrs. Brown, just never seen them in this capacity. So again, I appreciate you so much for sharing. This show is dedicated to family members that I have lost and the survivors in my family of breast cancer. I lost my aunt, Carolyn Harrington, my grandmother, Emma Coran, Luntine Durham, survivor. My sister, Wonderland Cade, a survivor. So to all of you ladies that are out there struggling and surviving, and those husbands that are sticking by their mates, I applaud you and I dedicate all this good energy to you. Thank you so much. Our notion for this week is no relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share an umbrella and survive the storm. This has been Relationship Rhetoric. I'm unapologetically Angela. Peace, love, and enlightenment.
Love, sex, desire, drama, lovers, and the others. And we talk about it all here on Relationship